When the Middle East is mentioned, one most likely immediately thinks of oil and desert, but few people know that the agricultural sector of this region generates up to $108 billion per year. To achieve such a huge figure, farms here harvest millions of tons of agricultural products in extreme heat and dry climate conditions. How do they manage this? Let's figure it out. Annually, Egypt harvests up to 1,870,000 tons of dates, which constitutes almost 20% of the total global date production. But to achieve such an impressive result, it all begins with work that demands mastery and courage from every farmer. Date palms can reach over 23 meters in height. To get to the bunches of fruit at the top, farmers tie a rope around the trunk and slowly climb up. There, at the top, they carefully select each bunch of ripe fruits. After harvesting, the fruit bunches are tied together and lowered to the ground so they are not crushed. On the ground, the dates are further sorted, washed, and dried before being sold in the market. Saffron is also a typical agricultural product of the Middle Eastern region. Currently, Iran provides over 90% of the world's saffron production, about 400 tons per year. The harvest season begins very early. By 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, workers are already in the fields. They must carefully pick each flower, making extremely smooth movements to avoid damaging the delicate stigmas. Each flower yields only about 0.06 of a gram of stigmas, and it takes up to 150 saffron flowers to produce 1 gram of saffron. Iran plans to increase production to 500 tons by the year 2028, but geopolitical tensions with America and Israel make this ambition more difficult to achieve than ever before. The next place is the fig gardens in Turkey. This country is the world leader, producing about 350,000 tons of figs per year, followed by Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, and Iran. But to achieve such a harvest, the picking must be very careful. The ideal time is morning, when the temperature is still cool and the figs retain their freshness. The farmer carefully twists or cuts each fruit, trying to keep the stem intact for better storage. Immediately after picking, the soft and sweet figs are layered into baskets, minimizing contact to avoid crushing, before sorting and transportation. The next product is the lemon. When harvesting, the farmer carefully twists, separating the fruit from the branch, which helps protect the tree and avoid damaging new shoots growing around. Then, the lemons are placed in baskets and taken to the collection area for the sorting and transportation stage. However, despite citrus orchards still harvesting, many Middle Eastern countries still do not produce enough to meet domestic demand. Currently, the region is forced to import up to 50% of its consumed food products, and the situation could become even more challenging in the coming months as military tensions continue to affect supply chains. In areas that are fortunately not yet affected by war, farmers continue to work hard. In the watermelon fields, harvesting happens quickly. A farmer quickly cuts the stem and carries each large round watermelon from the field. Heavy watermelons are quickly passed to a truck waiting on the side of the field. Someone is always waiting in the truck bed to receive and stack the watermelons in layers. Thus, each load, full of watermelons, leaves the field. Annually, Turkey produces about 3.2 million tons of watermelons, making it the largest watermelon producer in the Middle East. Turkey's western neighbor, Iran, is currently the 4th largest global producer of almonds, with an annual production volume of about 164,000 tons. In the field, machines grip the tree trunk tightly and suddenly vibrate powerfully. In an instant, thousands of ripe almonds fall to the ground simultaneously, like a light rain. The layer of almonds is then dried in the sun for several days. When the shells are dry, workers operate sweeping machines that move along the rows of trees, collecting all the almonds into long lines on the ground. The final step is to use a powerful vacuum cleaner to move all the almonds to a storage facility, preparing them for the next stage of processing. The next product is the eggplant. Every year, Egypt produces up to 1,859,000 tons of eggplants, making it the largest producer of eggplants in the Middle East and North Africa. But surprisingly, despite such large production volumes, most eggplants are still harvested entirely by hand. Upon finding fruits that meet the standards, farmers use scissors or knives to cut the stem. The operation must be very precise to avoid crushing or scratching the thin film of the purple skin. After cutting, each large bag of eggplants is placed into a cart, waiting in the middle of the field. The carts are filled, delivering hundreds of fresh eggplants to markets and processing plants. Grapes are also a crop harvested by hand. Farmers cut each bunch of grapes from the branch with sharp scissors. Each cut is clean, quick, and precise, ensuring that the juicy berries are not crushed or damaged. Each bunch of grapes, after being removed from the tree, is placed into crates, continuing its journey from the orchard to the dinner table. These farmers are just a small part of the approximately 27 million workers employed in the agricultural sector in the Middle East. Despite life remaining full of challenges, especially amidst war and instability, they continue to work diligently in the fields every day, preserving harvests and food sources for the entire region. In industrial tomato fields, the harvest season no longer relies solely on human hands. Instead, massive combine harvesters perform the bulk of the work. During operation, the machine's header cuts the entire tomato plant at the base and then moves it whole onto a system of moving conveyor belts. Here, vibrating plates constantly shake vigorously to separate ripe tomatoes from stems and leaves, and also remove excess soil adhering to the fruit's surface. Tomatoes that meet the standards are then unloaded directly into a truck's container. Thanks to this efficient harvesting process, the average tomato yield in the Middle East currently stands at approximately 53 tons per hectare. People also use machines to harvest cucumbers. The machine drives through the field, and its front end envelops all the fruits along with the vines into a processing system. Here, the cucumbers are separated from the plants, quickly cleaned, and then moved directly into large containers moving parallel to the field. However, there are still farms that choose the traditional method of manual harvesting. They carefully inspect and then gently pick each ripe cucumber and place it into its appropriate container. Thanks to the flexible combination of many harvesting methods, Turkey is currently the largest supplier of cucumbers and pickled cucumbers in the Middle East, accounting for about 60% of the total export volume. Amidst the hills of northern Jordan lie pomegranate orchards, stretching for hundreds of hectares and producing around 40,000 tons of fruit annually, with over 1,000 hectares of cultivated land. In the orchard, farmers walk along rows of trees, cutting each ripe pomegranate from its branch and carefully placing it into plastic baskets arranged on the ground. With experience and skilled hands, a person can harvest hundreds of fruits in just 1 hour. The baskets quickly fill, bringing the fruits of an entire season of care. However, peace in Jordan has recently been disrupted due to the aftermath of the conflict between Iran and the USA. Missile fragments, interceptor munitions, and explosive-laden drones have fallen in many areas, injuring some Jordanian civilians. Unlike many other fruits, grapefruit holds very tightly to its branches. Consequently, although agriculture is becoming increasingly mechanized, the most common method for harvesting grapefruits remains manual picking. In the orchard, a farmer takes pruning shears and slowly walks along each tree. When they find a fruit that has reached maturity, they cut the stem to separate the grapefruit from the branch and carefully place it into a basket attached to their waist. It may seem simple, but this work requires incredible endurance and skill. Pickers are often forced to climb tall ladders under the scorching sun. A single misstep or loss of balance is all it takes. Both they and the fruits of their labor can fall to the ground and shatter. The next location is a melon field in Saudi Arabia. This country produces over 63,100 tons of melons, making it one of the largest melon producers in the Middle East. During harvest season, the extensive fields quickly come alive. Farmers search for melons that have reached perfect ripeness, then give them a slight twist to detach them. Freshly picked melons are tossed into a container. In the truck bed, workers efficiently stack the melons in layers to save space and prevent collisions. Certain agricultural products exist that are more than just sustenance. They are integral to culture. Chickpeas, for instance, represent this category. In Lebanon, chickpeas are closely linked with renowned dishes such as falafel, hummus, and balila, dishes embodying culinary traditions stretching back millennia. However, to produce these staple foods, Harvesters in the fields must operate without interruption. During operation, a horizontal cutting blade severs the dry chickpea stem, while a front auger directs the entire plant onto the machine's conveyor belt. Internally, a threshing, sieving, and cleaning system rapidly separates the chickpeas from their husks, depositing them into a storage compartment. The husks are then returned to the field. Once a trailer is full, the chickpeas are unloaded into it, ready for transport to a processing facility. Over the coming years, Lebanon intends to boost its domestic chickpea production to comprise 40% of its total supply by the year 2030. Comparatively few are aware that Turkey stands as the world's foremost producer of apricots, yielding up to 750,000 tons annually. Behind this substantial figure lies the dedication of thousands of hours of diligent labor. When the time for apricot harvesting arrives, orchards quickly come alive. Upon discovering ripe fruit, workers gently twist or detach the fruit from the branch, taking care to avoid crushing the delicate skin. After being gathered, the apricots are placed into baskets for holding. Indeed, each basket of apricots is filled beneath the tree's canopies, signifying the bounty of an entire season of persistent effort. The next product is onions. In Israel, onion yields can reach approximately 61.8 tons per hectare, a very impressive figure within the Middle Eastern region. To achieve such harvests, farms often rely on specialized harvesters. During operation, the machine's earth-engaging part deeply penetrates the soil layer beneath, extracting the entire onion along with its roots and surrounding soil. The freshly harvested onions are immediately fed onto a conveyor belt, passing through a vibrating sieve system for cleaning, and then moved into a container. However, Israel's agricultural sector has not been immune to fluctuations. Following the Hamas attack in the year 2023, over 4,400 hectares of agricultural land were destroyed, resulting in losses exceeding $500 million United States dollars in agricultural production. Across the Middle East, the arable land area is estimated to be approximately 197 million hectares, with a significant portion dedicated to barley cultivation. During the harvesting season, combine harvesters begin to move slowly across the golden field. The combine's header cuts the straw, while the front auger directs the entire plant into the threshing drum, which continuously rotates, separating the kernels from the straw. The mixture then passes through a sieving system, allowing the barley kernels to fall into a collecting bin within the machine. The remaining straw is either chopped or spread back, leaving behind a neatly harvested field in the machine's wake. Globally, 916 million people are employed in agriculture, and every harvest is a story of human effort, machinery, and impressive scale. In today's video, we explore 30 of the most awe-inspiring harvests ever recorded. Over 70% of the United States orange production comes from Florida, but behind these endless fields lies the hard work of millions of migrant laborers. Under the scorching southern sun, they wear a thick cloth bag across their chests and move between the rows of trees. Each ripe, juicy orange is picked with a confident motion and dropped into the bag. When the bag fills, they empty it into large crates waiting nearby and then return to the dense foliage. In the United States of America, 73% of the agricultural workforce consists of immigrants. Thanks to them, millions of oranges are harvested daily, sustaining a multi-billion-dollar industry. Another vital state in American agriculture is California, the strawberry capital of the world, responsible for 85 to 90% of U.S. strawberry production and a huge share for the entire globe. But to get those cartons of ripe and juicy red strawberries, farmers have to bend over every row for hours. To reduce the strain on their backs and knees, they utilize specialized harvest platforms. A picker lies on their stomach on a board, reaching out to select ripe berries as the machine slowly moves forward. It's a simple, yet highly effective solution. Next, we journey to the state of Jalisco, Mexico, where nearly 99% of the world's tequila is produced. But it all begins in the rugged agave fields with workers known as jimadores. In their hands, they wield a long koa with a round, sharp blade. With a few precise movements, the agave plant is cut down. Layer by layer, the spiky leaves are removed. The base is cut away. The blade digs deep, exposing a large round core called a piña. The piñas, weighing tens of kilograms each, are then transported to the distillery. The discarded leaves are either thrown away or composted, returning nutrients to the soil. In contrast to tequila, lettuce is grown in 106 countries worldwide. Farmers use knives to carefully slice off each head without crushing the leaves. Those meeting the standard are placed in a packaging area, ready for shipment to factories and supermarkets. Today, many large farms employ giant combine harvesters. The machine slowly glides down the rows, its sharp blades evenly cutting each head. The lettuce is transported via an overhead conveyor belt for initial cleaning, while workers on both sides meticulously inspect it, leaving only the most perfect heads. Our next destination is the tea plantations of Japan. By 2025, the tea market there is expected to reach over 112,800 tons, and by 2034, it's projected to hit 167,000 tons. Behind this growth are fields where the harvest is collected with near absolute precision. A wide structure encompasses the entire row of tea bushes, ensuring no young shoots are missed. At its center is a system of high-speed rotating blades that precisely cut the most delicate portion. The severed tea is then vacuumed and delivered into a collection bag at the rear. The entire process is rhythmic and organized. Unlike many other crops, avocados are typically harvested by hand. The American market alone consumes between 1.27 and 1.36 billion kilograms of avocados annually, placing immense pressure on farms. Farmers utilize hydraulic lifts to ascend to the treetops. This allows them to observe closely and select fruits at their exact point of ripeness. The combination of high lifting equipment and an experienced eye ensures that every avocado harvested is of consistent quality. We are now in the Veneto region of Italy, the country's largest area for wine grape production, with an annual output of around 1.4 million tons. Instead of hand-picking every bunch, many wineries employ machines that shake the vines. A giant apparatus moves along perfectly aligned rows, applying enough vibration to dislodge ripe berries onto collection trays without harming the plants. As the trays fill, the operator empties them into large containers. The grapes fall like purple rain, ready for processing. In contrast to many crops harvested in a single season, tobacco is cut 3 to 5 times a year. This leaves farmers with very little time to rest. Modern harvesters significantly ease this labor today. They move along the rows, cleanly cutting each stalk in an instant. The entire plant is fed directly into the machine for processing. With high speed and continuous operation, each machine can harvest about 2 hectares per day. In Brazil, watermelons are grown year-round, contributing to the country's annual production of nearly 2 million tons. Harvesting watermelons requires great endurance and perseverance. Farmers gently twist the stem to detach the fruit from the vine. Workers stand in a long chain, passing the heavy watermelons hand to hand under the scorching sun. The watermelons are loaded into the beds of trucks. After an intense workday, the entire field is cleared, ready for transport to the markets. The next product is cotton. Global cotton production this year is projected to be around 26 million tons. To handle this immense volume, cotton harvesters are indispensable. A single machine can process 6 rows simultaneously. Rotating metal spindles continuously spin, enveloping the white fibers and extracting them cleanly from the plant. The cotton is then vacuumed directly into large internal compartments. With modern modular systems, freshly harvested cotton is immediately pressed into massive bales right within the machine. Our next destination is fruit-laden lemon groves. Global lemon production for the 2025 to 2026 season is forecast at approximately 10.1 million tons. But to achieve this volume, each lemon must be picked with absolute care. Workers move slowly along each row, carefully observing the peel's color and the fruit's firmness. When picking, they twist the stem to detach it from the branch rather than pulling forcefully. Each lemon falls perfectly into the basket. When a basket is full, it's taken to central collection points, where hundreds of other lemons already await. In Japan, there is a method for storing apples that seems almost paradoxical, without refrigeration. Instead, they are buried under snow for the entire winter. Apples are picked from the trees and carefully placed in containers. A wooden lid is placed on top, and the gaps are sealed with branches to prevent meltwater from entering. Then, the containers are covered with a tarp. and a layer of snow up to 50 centimeters thick is piled on top. Under this thick white blanket, the apples naturally preserve for half a year without artificial cooling, retaining their crispness and even developing a sweeter taste over time. Amidst the serene lotus fields of Vietnam, farmers venture in search of a treasure hidden deep beneath layers of mud. This treasure is none other than the lotus root, a delicious and nutritious agricultural product. Farmers walk through the mud, feeling their way with each step. They use their bare hands or small tools to explore the wet clay, digging carefully until they reach each root. Any excessive force could break the root in half, diminishing its value. The work typically takes place on sunny days when the soil is easier to dig, and the roots are at their ideal point of firmness and crispness. After extraction from the mud, lotus roots are washed, sorted, and sent to market. Another famous agricultural product in Vietnam is the jackfruit. In the first 9 months of 2025, Vietnam earned over $141 million from jackfruit exports. To harvest this fruit, farmers use sharp knives to cut the stem from the branch. For high-hanging fruits, they must climb the tree. After removal, the fruits are placed horizontally, stem side down, allowing the sap to drain naturally. As the sap reduces, each fruit is loaded onto transport vehicles, ready to begin its journey as a multi-million-dollar export. Next, let's see how European farmers harvest sugar beets. For the 2025 to 2026 season, sugar beet production in the EU is projected at approximately 16.1 million tons. In the field, a combine harvester works continuously. The front section with rotating blades quickly cuts off the green leaves. Immediately after, a specialized implement lowers, penetrating deep into the soil, and carefully pulls each beet from the ground. Once extracted, the beets are transported via a conveyor belt attached to the machine's body. The belt delivers them to a large container moving parallel to the side. On cliffs 80 meters high in Nepal, people dangle in the air solely to collect honey. Some honey hunters have fallen to their deaths in the abyss and were never found again. Few know about this tradition of honey hunting. People gather in large groups, each with their own task. At the base of the mountain, one group burns firewood and adds wet leaves to create dense smoke, which drives the giant bees out of their nests. As the bees disperse, a climber on a rope uses a long pole to break off pieces of honeycomb and lower them into a basket held before them. This is not just harvesting, it's a confrontation between humans and the wild. Speaking of sweet crops, we cannot overlook sugarcane. 40% of the world's sugarcane production comes from Brazil. To handle this gigantic volume, massive machines work non-stop. Rotating blades at the front lower to ground level, instantly cutting each stalk. Simultaneously, augers move the cane inward, removing leaves and pushing the clean stalk into a conveyor system. After processing, the cane is fed through a pipe and blown directly into a truck driving parallel to the side. The next product is blueberries. In 2024, blueberry production reached 41.19 million kilograms, valued at approximately $49.3 million. When the season arrives, the header of the harvester slides low over the ground, passing through the low blueberry bushes. A system of vibration and collection separates the ripe berries from the stems, delivering them to a compartment within seconds. Each bush is fully processed, creating a fast and consistent harvesting rhythm. Harvesting continues even during snowfall. With these semi-automatic machines, farmers can still gather Brussels sprouts in severe frost. With quick and precise movements, each Brussels sprout plant is pulled from the ground. One plant can yield 60 to 100 small sprouts arranged along the stem. Each plant is then fed into a cutting system with rotating blades that separate the sprouts from the stalk. The round and perfect sprouts accumulate in the machine and are unloaded into containers, then sent to processing plants. Next, we'll look at how farmers harvest pomegranates. Around late September, when pomegranates turn red and ripe, the harvest begins. The fruits are carefully twisted and detached from the branch, gently placed into a basket. On average, one person can pick hundreds of fruits per hour. When the baskets are full, farmers stack them in the center of the orchard for later transportation. Thanks to daily diligent labor, these farmers supply over 3 million tons of pomegranates to the world annually. Another fruit often picked by hand is the kiwi. Farmers, standing beneath trellises, carefully inspect each bunch. They gently twist the kiwi to detach it from the stem and place it in a basket. This task is repeated thousands of times, requiring great skill and patience. Currently, some farms are testing robots that mimic human harvesting movements. A mechanical arm extends, identifies, and gently detaches the fruit, significantly increasing productivity. The next product is onions. Every person on the planet consumes about 6.2 kilograms of onions per year. However, before reaching the kitchen, onions go through a long journey full of dust and dirt. Onions are passed through a vibrating sieve on a harvester, where stuck dirt and dry roots are removed. They are then carefully laid out in rows in the field to dry in the sun. After drying, farmers quickly gather the onions and load them directly into the beds of trucks. From the field, onions are transported to processing plants or warehouses, from where they enter the global markets. Unlike most crops, hazelnuts naturally fall from trees when ripe. The global area for hazelnut cultivation reaches approximately 600,000 hectares, and manual harvesting over such an extensive area would be extremely labor-intensive. Instead, special harvesting machines enter the orchards. At the front, they have a roller with combs and rubber fingers that gently sweep the hazelnuts from the ground. Once inside the machine, the hazelnuts pass through a separator and a fan system that blows out dry leaves, dust, small branches, and empty nuts. A belt conveyor with crossbars continues to sift the nuts before discharging the cleaned hazelnuts into bins. On large farms, cucumbers are also harvested with the help of machines. The front of the combine gently detaches each fruit from the vine without damaging the plant. The cucumbers are immediately sent to a rear conveyor. There, they undergo preliminary cleaning on-site. The entire process is continuous, with virtually no stops. Thanks to mechanization, the world harvested over 100 million tons of cucumbers last year. Our next destination is the plum orchards of California. In the United States, almost 99% of fresh and dried plums originate from this state. To harvest plums, farmers use special vibrating machines. With a few seconds of strong vibration, all ripe plums fall simultaneously, like a purple rain. However, some growers still prefer handpicking to ensure quality.